Here's how to easily create viral YouTube thumbnail designs in Canva as a beginner without any graphic design experience. I've grouped them into 7 styles ranging from super easy to create in minutes. And at the end of the video, I'll also show you a simple 4-step process to evaluate your favorite YouTube thumbnail designs and break down what it would take to create them in Canva. Let's start with super easy. I'll call this background image only. It's super simple to create thumbnail designs like these because it's just one element, an image, and there's no text. To get started, open Canva and click Create a Design, search for thumbnail, select YouTube thumbnail. Now from here you can either upload your own images by clicking Upload right here, or you can search for images in Canva by going to Elements, typing something in the search bar, and then scrolling and clicking on an image that you like. Here you can adjust the size by dragging the corners of the image to scale it up or scale it down. You can also reposition it by dragging it around the canvas. You can recolor or change the color of the image by clicking on the image and then selecting Edit Image. Then next to the filters, click on See All. And from here you can just click on the various filters and see how you like the look. You can also adjust the intensity of the filter by dragging this here. And if you want to revert back to the original with no filter, just scroll up and click None. To zoom in and out on the canvas, at the bottom left, click this little circle to zoom in or out. Once you do that, you can click anywhere outside on the canvas in an empty area to get out of edit mode. Once you're done, click on Share in the top right-hand corner, then click Download. And for the file type, you can choose either JPEG or PNG, and then just click the download button again. The next super easy thumbnail style I'll call background image with text overlay. To create popular YouTube thumbnails like these, we'll use the same process we just covered to add your background image to the canvas. Then click text on the left-hand side, click Add a Headline, and start typing your text. Drag it into position. You can also drag the text box edges to enlarge it. So this will make the text larger, or you can manually adjust the text size up here. With the text selected, you can change the color by clicking on this A with the colors up under the text color changer, and then selecting a different color. You can change the color of just a few words by highlighting those words, and then clicking on the text color button and selecting a different color. Next, let's add text effects. So click on the text box, and at the top click on Effects, and you can choose a style on the left hand side such as lift, outline, neon, glitch. Once you choose a style, you'll see additional settings based on the style that you've selected. Click on any open space in the canvas to exit the effects. You can also adjust the line height and letter spacing by clicking on the text and clicking on this button here and making your adjustments. Next up in the super easy category are background images with text overlays in arrows or circles. Building upon our previous 2 styles, all you have to do is click on Elements, search for Arrow, and then under the graphics section, click on See All next to Graphics. And I like to use graphics because you can change the color. So choose an arrow style that you like. I'll choose this one. And once it's added to the canvas, you'll see this color box here, which allows you to change the color of the arrow. It's the same process to add a circle. You would go to Elements, search for Circle, click on See All next to Graphics, choose a circle style that you like, and then now I can click on the color changer and change the color of the circle. So as you can see, many popular videos with thousands and millions of views have thumbnail designs that are super easy to create. Now let's move on to the easy category, starting with split screen images with or without text overlays. Instead of 1 background images, they might have 2 images side by side, 3 images side by side, or more. The big thing here is alignment, scaling, and cropping. So you can start by clicking on Uploads and uploading your images, Or if you prefer, you can click on Elements and search for some images. And I'm just going to click See All next to Photos. I'll select this one here to add it to the canvas, and this one there to add it to the canvas as well. Next, you might need to crop each image and enlarge it. So you can click on the image, click Edit Image, then click Crop. And from here, you can just drag the corners to crop the image. So I'm going to crop that one. Now I'm going to click on the second image, Edit Image, Crop. Actually, I don't need to crop that one. And then I'm going to drag the corners here to enlarge the images. And it might take a few tries of cropping and scaling an alignment to get it looking right. You can also recolor the images as needed by clicking on the image, clicking Edit Image, and then going down to the filters as we did before. If you're using any text overlays, you can add those by next clicking on the text, add headline, typing your text, changing the color of the text. Now this thumbnail designed by Marquez Brownlee is just two images that are side by side. And then there is a rectangle element on each, as well as a text box and an icon on one. So let me show you how to create that. So working with this image that we've already created, we have the two images side by side. I'm going to click on them and kind of use my left cursor to shift them over just a little bit. And that will put that white space in between. Next, click on Elements, click on All. Let's just exit this out. And here under Shapes, I'm just going to select this square, and I can drag this section here to make it a rectangle. So I'm going to drag and move this up. Next, I'm going to add a border and change the color. So when I click on it, I see this blue square. I can click on that to change the color. I'll just make it this yellow color here. And then here, if I click on these lines, I can change the border style. So from border style, I'm going to click this first one, and then I can change the weight of the border, and I'm going to make the border color right here, I'm going to make it white. So with that down, I'm going to click on the rectangle, Control D on the keyboard to make a duplicate of it, or Command D if you're on a Mac. Next, I'm going to add a text box. So I'm going to click T on the side to get a text box, and I'll click Add Headline. And then I will put my text there. So the first one said add. So I type the word add, and I'm just going to drag it up. And then I'm going to Control D to duplicate that, drag it over to the other box, and add the word reality. And then there was also an Apple icon. So we could see if that icon's in Canva. If not, we'll find it online. But you can click on Elements, then click on Icons. And I'll just click on Apple icon. And under graphics, I'll click on See All. I'm looking for one that is solid. So this one here is solid, so I'll click that one. And now I can click this black box at the top to change the color to white. And then I'll just drag it up here. And I'll just click on the corners to make it smaller. And I'll change that color back to black. Okay, so now for one of my favorites, which is cutouts. I'll call this Easy Style Thumbnail as background image with cutouts and text overlay. So a cutout is an element with the background removed, like this penny, this house, and these people. It has what is called a transparent background. Canva has tons of elements with backgrounds already removed. You can also upload an image, say of a person, or search for one. And I'll click this image to add it to the canvas. And then once you have your image, so you can see it's one file with the person and the background all in one. You would simply click on the image, select Edit Image, and then click on BG Remover, and Canva will remove the background. So now the background has been removed and it's a cutout. If you want to manually remove additional parts of the image or the background, you can use the background eraser. So from here where it says Magic Eraser, I could click on there. And then for the brush, I can choose my brush size to make my brush larger or smaller. And then let's say I just wanted to remove this. You would just brush over it and hit erase, and now it's deleted that. To get out of this mode, you would click this back arrow here. And I'm going to undo this by clicking the undo button. Okay, so let's create these thumbnails with cutouts. We'll start with this Ryan Trahan thumbnail that got 23 million views. First, we're going to add a background image. So I'll search for a picture of grass. So I'll go to Elements and I'll search for grass. And I'll just select this grass here. And I'll enlarge it to take up the full canvas. Next, I want to add a cutout. So I'm going to search for a picture of a man. So I'll go to Elements. And I'll just use the same one that I just had. And then I'm going to click on Edit Image, BG Remover. And now the background's been removed. Let me just position him on the screen. Next, I'll add the penny. So I'll go to Elements. I'll search for penny. And I want a real penny. So under Photos, I'll just click this penny here. And it already has the background removed. So I can just resize it and position it. Next, I'll search for dollar. So I'll go to Elements, I'll search for dollar, and under Photos, I see this $1 bill here, so I'll click that. And here I'll just drag the edges to size it down. And then here, with the dollar selected, you see this little rotating circle. So I'm going to click that so I can rotate it. Then I'm going to scoot it up. Now to duplicate it, I'm going to just select Control D, and then with the second one I'll move it over, and I'll use this rotating as well to kind of shift it. Then I'll do Control D again to get another one, shift that one. And then lastly, I'll add the arrow. So I'll click on Elements, I'll search for arrow, and under Graphics I'll choose this arrow here. So I have it the wrong way, so I want to flip it. So with the arrow selected, I'm going to select Flip at the top and then Flip Vertical. And then I'm going to drag it and I can extend it. And that's basically how you create a thumbnail image with cutouts in Canva. Next, I want to talk about how layers work in Canva. So think of a layer as like a stacking order. For example, with this hamburger, you have the bun, then you have cheese, then you have on top of the cheese, you have lettuce. On top of the lettuce, you have the patty. So it's the stacking order. So if we come back over to our image, let's say if I move this penny over here to the dollars, as you can see now, it's up under the dollars. But if I wanted it to be in front of the dollars, I would click on it. I would right click, select layer. And after you select the word layer, you choose what you want to do. So I could say bring to front, which is going to bring it to the front in front of everything, or bring forward just brings it one level forward. So I'll just say bring to front, and now the penny is in front of the dollars. So this thumbnail image from Iman Ghazi is just a background image with a cutout of him holding a dollar and some icons that are put on the screen. And this is easy to create. We simply would go to Elements and find our background image. I'll just choose this background image here. And then we would have uploaded our picture, but for this one I will search for a man. And I'll select this image here. And then I just want to remove the background and make it a cutout. So I'll click Edit Image, BG Remover. Now I can make the man larger and put him into position. And then next I'll come to Elements and search for icons. And on the Graphics tab, I'll just select some icons. And once it's selected, I can change the color. So I'm just going to change these to a white color. Make them smaller. I'll just go ahead and add a few icons here. Then once you have your icons there, just click on each one and change the color. And adjust the scale. And that's basically how easy it is. You just play around and get everything positioned on the screen. This thumbnail from Vertasium is a black background with 3 pictures that have the background removed, some text, and an arrow. So let me show you how to create that. So for your black background, you can simply put a square here and change it to black. That's one way. Or if you want something with a little bit more depth, from the elements, just search for black background, and then you can choose one of these pictures. Just choose this one here. Then you would upload your 3 images of the red, green, and blue LEDs. So I'm going to do a search for that on Google. Okay, so I went to Google, I did a search. Typically you would search for each one individually, but I searched for blue, red, green LED. And I found this image here. So I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to come back over. And because we already have a background, I'll just go to another slide. Control V or Command V on your keyboard to paste the image in. Okay, and once the image is here, I'm just going to click on it and remove the background. So Edit Image, BG Remover. And now I'm just going to Control C to copy it and come back over here, Control V to paste it. And then I can just enlarge it. Okay, so next we just want to add our text boxes. So click on the text, add headline. We'll type out the text. The first one was easy. I'll Control D to duplicate it and drag it over, easy. And Control D to duplicate it as well. And then I'll double click it. Yes. And then lastly, we would just add our arrow. So go to the elements, search for arrow. Click on the graphics section, choose this one, make it smaller. With it clicked, I'll spin it around and then move it into position. So as you can see, you could do a lot of really cool, easy thumbnails with cutouts. Next up is split screen backgrounds with cutouts and text overlays. Let's recreate something similar to this thumbnail by Next Workshop that got 3 million views. So they have 2 gray backgrounds here, then they have 2 cutouts of the guy and some text overlays, and then they have the eggs here. So first we'll add 2 gray backgrounds. So we'll go to Elements and we'll search for gray background, and I'll just click here on Photos for See All. So I want contrasting, so I'm going to select this one for the light background, and then I'll select this one for the dark background. I'll just slide them out the way. So next up, we're going to position these backgrounds. So I'll slide one over to the left. And as you see, this little purple line comes up, which shows you that is the midpoint. And so then I'll just extend it. And this one I'll just put right next to it. And then I will just enlarge it by dragging the sections. Okay, so we have the background. Now you would upload your images. In this case, I'm just going to search for an image. So I'm going to go to Elements. I'm going to search for abs. And I'm going to click on Photos. Let's go with this one here. And then I'm going to click on the image, Edit Image, and remove the background. So click BG Remover. Okay, and I'll just slide this image into position. Next, I'm going to search for man with belly. Okay, so I'm going to use this image here. And I'm going to click on the image, Edit Image, and remove the background. Now he's turned the wrong way. So with the image selected, I'm going to click on Flip and then Flip Horizontal. And I'm going to slide him over to position. Now in this case, I want to crop his arm. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to crop him a different way. So here I can just drag this edge in, and that will also crop his arm. Okay, so we have the 2 images here. Now we're going to add our text. So click on the text element, click Add Headline, and one said Week 0. Okay, and then I'm going to click on Effects. And right here where it says Background, I'm going to click there. I'm going to change the background to dark gray. And then for the roundness, I'm going to get rid of the roundness and reduce the spread because I want it kind of tight here on the text box. And maybe make it slightly transparent to lighten it up. Okay, so then I'll click anywhere outside of the canvas. So last thing I want to do is change the text color. So with the text selected, I'll click on this A text color and change it to white. And now I will click on the text box, Control D on the PC or Command D on a Mac to make a duplicate, drag one over, and then edit the text. And the second one said week 2. And then the last thing I want to add is the eggs. So here, going back to elements, I'm going to search for eggs. Okay, and so I search for eggs and I'm going to use these eggs right here. So I'll just select them. Next, I want to remove the background. So with the image selected, edit image, BG remover. Then I'm going to reduce the size of them. Drag it right down here to the corner. And that's how easy it is to recreate these cutouts. And as you can see, there's a lot of variety that you can do with cutouts. Next up are collages. So collages are typically used in some type of compilations or mega compilations where you're showing a bunch of images like these here. So these are easy to create. So first let's recreate this collage by the Paint Explainer that got 3.6 million views. So this is basically a 5 columns, so 5 things across and 3 rows down. So the first thing we want to do is create a grid. So from here we're going to go to elements and we're going to search for grids. In this case I'm going to search for grids 5x3. I don't see a 5 by 3, but I do see some grids that have 5 across. So I'll just select one of those. And the background is, the grid lines are white, so I will click up here at this color and I'll just change the colors to this color for now. Doesn't really matter because we're going to delete the grid at the end. So what I'm going to first do is scale it up so I can have 5 columns. Okay, that looks good. And so now I'm just going to search for the icons to represent what I'm looking for. So I'll go to elements and I'm just going to search for circle icon. And here for graphics, I'll select see all. And then you can come through here and you could just choose, just click on the icons that represent what you're looking for. And once you click on them, you can drag them into position within your grid. You can change the color by clicking on it and then choosing the different colors up here if you want different colors. And if you don't see anything that you like for the icons, you can create your own icons. So let me show you how to do this. I'm just going to open up another slide. And what you can do is search for an element for just a circle. And so I'll just choose a circle here. And I'm going to change the background color of the circle. And then for the elements, you can just search for things that represent what you want in your icons. So I'm going to search for birds. So I'll just scroll down. So here's a solid bird color. And now I'll just drag it to make it smaller. So once I have the bird centered into my circle, well, the next thing I'm going to do is just drag. So I'm going to put my cursor up here outside and click, hold, drag to select everything. And then just say group. So this groups them together. So now I can just select the group, right click on it, copy it. And I can go back over to my thumbnail and then just do Control V to paste it. And now when I resize it, it resizes both at the same time. So you would just basically build that out. It's going to continue just to add a few more elements for this demo. Okay, so once you have everything aligned, the next thing is to add the text. So I'm going to click on the T for text and add heading and then type in whatever your text is going to be. Then I'm going to drag that, and in this case I'll just put it on the line and I'll make it smaller. And then I would just put all the text in. Okay, once you have all your text in, if you find that everything's a little too tight, you can, and you need to shift everything up, you can simply do Control A or Command A, and that selects everything. Put your cursor anywhere here and hold it down and then just drag it up. Okay, so once everything looks good, the last thing you want to do is delete this grid that we put in. So I'm going to select the grid and then just press delete on your keyboard. And now your thumbnail is done. Next, I'm going to show you how to create this other thumbnail, which has a header. So this thumbnail here from Punisher that got 15 million views has a header, and then it has 5 columns. So let me just show you how to create that. So let's start with our grid. So we know we want 5 columns. So I'm going to search elements. I'm going to search for grids, and I'll just say 5. And this is a 5-column grid here. So I'll just select that, change the color of the grid lines so we can see them. And then I'll just expand it. And remember, we're going to delete this, so all I really care about is that it gives us the positioning. Okay, so we have our 5 lines. I'm going to add a square. So I'm going to click on the elements and select this square. I'm going to change the color of the square to black, and I'm going to move the square up. So sometimes you have to click out and then come back in, drag it and move it up. And then I'm going to expand it. And then I'm going to squish it down. Okay, next I want to add text. So I'm going to click on the T, add headline, and then in all caps, so I have my text. Now I'm going to change my color to, I'm going to drag it into position, and then I'm going to change the color to white. Now here, I'm going to choose a different type of font, and then next I'm going to increase the spacing between the characters. So I'll click here, and then for letter spacing I'm just going to make it a little bigger, a little wider. Okay, so that is our header. And then the other thing, we just now upload our images, crop them, scale them, align them. So in this case I'm just going to choose a few random images. So I'm just going to choose a few random images here. Okay, so if you needed to, you could remove the background images, but in theory you would be uploading your own images, and in the example they did not remove the backgrounds. So all I'm really going to do is crop. Now kind of a shortcut to crop is these little lines to the left and right. If you drag that, it will also crop the image without you having to go to edit photos and crop there. So I'm going to do that. And whether or not you can actually fit 5 across, you know, this is just a demo, but it would be kind of hard for me to fit 5 across here. But so I'll just kind of reduce the size here. I'll just make it 3 for now. The alignment can be tricky. Okay, so as promised, here's my 4-step process to evaluate your favorite creators' thumbnails and see how to create them. And we'll use two thumbnails as an example. This one here from Cody Sanchez. So the first thing I look at is, what is the background? So is the background a picture? Is it an image? Is it a color? Is it a gradient? It's a custom-made background, but I want to know what is the background. So in this case, the background is actually a picture of a table. So it's a picture of a table. Then the next thing I want to know is, what are the overlays and cutouts? So there's no text cutout. That table has all the text into it, but there is an overlay of her. So she's a cutout that's put on top of the background. The next, I would want to know if there's any style effects or text overlays. So looking at this other image from the Market Whisperer, this one we could see it's a black background, a solid black background. There are text overlays. There's an overlay cutout of a picture of a person. There's also kind of like a pattern in the background that you can't see. And then next I would see, does it have any elements such as tilts or perspectives or curves, which are a little bit more trickier to do in Canva, and it's in a more advanced thing, so we won't cover that. Click here to see the video on 100 thumbnail styles for comparison, contrast, and phase type videos.